All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, you might think to start, this is another video with the one and only Nick Fortune. And while he is going to be assisting in this, it's actually going to serve more as a coaching session. And what I want to demonstrate today is how I plan on retiring rich with just one investment property. This is a single family home. It's costing under $600,000. And that seems, I would have thought this would be impossible to do before running these numbers and actually understanding the potential. And so that's why I want to bring it to you. But what's really cool about this is not only do I plan on making $100,000 each and every year to start, I do plan within the next 2 to 5 years to be pulling almost $500,000 each and every year, if not more, from this one property alone. So when I say retire rich, I mean without owing anything for it. I mean it's netting a cash flow position before taxes of somewhere close to $40,000 a month. So we're gonna dive into that. Do you know of anybody making that kind of money on one single family?
A couple, but that's still good.
Cool.
I think that's a good number.
Well, I wanna know how, but we're not gonna get into that on this video. This guy here, you may be wondering why the hell there's a big buck here on the, well, there's a couple things you should know. First, this is gonna be our newest house guest at the property we're closing on in March. That's the property we're here to discuss today, so I thought I'd bring him along for the video. Secondly, I want to point out a couple of quick things regarding the channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, you should be. We do give away 2 $25 Amazon gift cards each and every week to subscribers only. So make sure you're a candidate for that. And you also have to interact. I want you guys to actually be involved and share comments. And when you guys are interacting, you'll find that you're making bigger progress. And I just want to credit those that are. The 100,000 hat, you guys know it, you love it, you recognize it. This is from back when we got 100,000 subscribers, but I'm wearing it today in honor of a property producing 100,000 in revenues per year. If you are interacting on our other social channels, you guys are also going to be selected as winners for the gift cards. So go and see us on this channel here. This is a Instagram page where we've already got over 62,000 followers, or you can check out this one. This one already has over 50,000 followers, and we've only been working on those two channels now for about a year and 3 or a year and 4 months. So we're very proud of that. It's a great way to stay motivated. You'll see us showcasing a lot of awesome lifestyle things, travel, cars, things we all love, and I think are good to fantasize about. I think it keeps you motivated. I think going out and even driving some of these cars sometimes can help you stay on track. We do have one other one down here. This is our Ballers Media Instagram account where we just surpassed 200,000 followers for the very first time. We're so stoked. We've been teetering on the edge and it kind of falls below and then it'll jump back over now and then. But go and become followers of those and we'll pay you. Now, the last thing I want to mention is something we're very proud of. This is the FeedSpot article written in January, top 20 financial education YouTube channels to follow in 2019. And wouldn't you know it, we landed the #1 spot, guys. We can't believe it. So awesome. We even came out above Financial Education, another YouTube channel here. Jeremy, shout out Jeremy. We're happy and proud to even be ranked above you on this because I love your channel. Good content, guys. We'll link it in the description below. Maybe sometime we can collab, Jeremy. He fills in the blanks on stock market investing, which we don't do here. So it's a great supplement. Check him out. So I've brought Nick in. He's in town for the day. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to debt weapons, when it comes to the infinite banking concept through his investment grade insurance policies. These things are incredible. And we've had a tremendous response from our audience. And we've even asked a couple people if they'd be willing to come on video and share what their experience has been. So we're hoping to be able to get that too. We did that last week also with Michael Matthew. So we're just trying to give you guys real life examples. That's what I like as I contemplate these tools for myself. I've been so busy with this property that we're gonna talk about that I've just been distracted and I'm not feeling well. You can probably hear I'm sick. I'm a little foggy because of the cough medicine. But Nick is here to set me straight because I am screwing it up when it comes to my taxes.
As much as possible.
It's not gonna be easy. He's got his work cut out. As you guys know, I spent an ungodly amount of money on taxes 2018. It came out to about $350,000, just under. And some of you acknowledged in the comments that my tax person must be a complete moron. I am going through a transition because my father retired. He's been my tax guy my whole life and he handed off my file. So I don't know, I'm not sure what's going on, but I do know that after speaking with Nick already, I need extra sets of eyes on this. And this really just boils down again, guys, to the idea of being mentored and coached. And I asked Nick, he flew out here for a completely different reason, and the very first thing I did was say, hey, let's talk about my stuff.
Well, we all need it. We all need coaching. I mean, everybody, and we talked about how I get people to come look at what I'm doing, because when you're in it, you know, things that you just do, you just take for granted. You just do them because that's what you do. But you need somebody to kind of look at 30,000 feet and see what you're doing, and you're like, golly, every day I tell people what to do, and yet I can't tell myself what to do.
Yeah, I think when you're in the middle of it, it's so hard to see for yourself. I'm sure it has to do with the emotional connection.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at these numbers, and then I kind of want to hear a couple stories from you, because I know that you have a funny story to share from the airport, which I wouldn't let you tell yet. And I also want to hear about what happened in Italy. Nick just got back from Italy, where he said somebody recognized him. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in on the more, this is the Cashflow Cruncher, guys. And when you get this spreadsheet, which you can download for free from cashflowcruncher.com, we give that for free in exchange for your subscription. So make sure you're subscribing and liking this video. Have you been using the Cashflow Cruncher yet? Let us know in the comments, please. Do you like it? It took me 10 minutes to fill this out. I usually break these into separate, what I call financial ecosystems, if you will, where I have one for the household, which demonstrates all of my income streams that I bring home, minus all the expenses that are related to day-to-day living, personal expenses. And then I'll keep separate financial ecosystems, aka cash flow crunchers, for businesses and real estate. So what I did was I filled one out purely for this property in Buena Vista, pronounced Buena Vista by the locals. And I want to walk you guys through just how amazing this could be for us. We've got a very, very strong net cash flow position. I'm going to double check all these numbers with you and sort of walk you through the use of this. As we approach the closing table on March 1st for this property, are looking for the team, and I've been doing hundreds of hours worth of research, and one of the resources I came up with through Craigslist, which I stand behind as my go-to more than any other resource out there, was this short-term rental expert in the specific area of Buena Vista. Now, this rental expert took the time to drive over to the property in advance of us getting through the actual real estate contract, where I was still able to exit and still get my earnest money back. He went over there and found out that this property during the on-season will rent for roughly $500 per night all day long. That's a 7-month span from May till December. He also found out that under the off months from December to May, we'll rent all day at $300 per night, which once I heard these numbers, it stunned me, because I'm a long-term buy and hold landlord, which means that I'm used to getting ideally 1% of what I'm purchase pricing at in income versus the potential of earning over 10K per month, right? So it's a really remarkable opportunity that I didn't necessarily consider immediately. Now, this is a primary residence, and I like to make sure that that's clear. We're gonna keep this property here as a corporate rental. This is a rental. We're gonna be moving there and staying for as long as we can. You know, it'll probably end up being somewhere around a couple of weeks of the month, but we're traveling so often, and we have to be back in Denver for business so often, that we wanted to run the numbers at a 20-day per month average that the property would be rented from short-term tenants. And this guy seems really optimistic. In fact, he thinks we'll get more than that if we ever choose to, but let's run it conservatively for now. If you run the numbers at $500 per day at 20 days of the month over 7 months, you're looking at 140 of the year, bringing you $70,000 each and every year, which when we average that per month, we're looking at $5,833 per month in average gross income. And then during the down season, we're looking at that $300 per night over 20 days, which is a total of $100 over that 5-month period. At $30,000 in total income, you'll average that at $2,500 per month, which is a pretty cool number, because if you look at this 8333, it hits 100K, right? So this is my $100,000 worth of income potential. But here's where things get even more interesting. He thinks that with this specific proximity, by adding what people consider to be an amenity like the hot tub, you'll easily pull an extra $100 per night on this property, which on the same 20 days per month, you're looking at $2K a month on a $7,500 investment. That to me is a no-brainer. So even though I don't really want a bunch of nasty, strange bodies floating around in my hot tub, I'm thinking it's going to be something that we're just going to tolerate.
That's why they have chlorine. Yeah, it's ugly.
I'd rather have a saltwater tub, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to, obviously, with this decision. So let's take a look at this cash flow cruncher quickly. We've got a section here for investments, retirements, cash, life insurance, and other assets. On the debts tab here, you'll see that we can put everything that's associated with this specific financial ecosystem. There is no additional debt. We are going to be cash flowing both the down payment on this, and we'll be cash flowing the addition of the furniture and the various amenities. Now, keep in mind that this would be something I would actually leverage to purchase if I didn't have the ability to cash flow it. I'm choosing to cash flow it, whether it be right or wrong. I like the starting point of having that 20% equity. I think it's a safe place to be. It makes me emotionally more comfortable. But again, we would have borrowed the down payment and the cost of furniture and amenities if we didn't have it, because there's so much income potential here. It's going to cash flow really, really well. Going into the personal expenses tab, you'll see where we've outlined everything that we believe this will cost us on average each month. So we've got the utility expectations that the sellers are telling us that we need to plan for. We've also added some really conservative numbers like $250 a month in landscaping. This is a big dirt plot, 5 acres big. People aren't really doing a lot there, but I want to be sure that some of the big projects that we go underway with at some point over the next, say, 5 years, that we've been sort of budgeting for it. We've got the taxes and insurance, and then an additional $200 worth of general maintenance. Again, this property is immaculate. I'm only buying new stuff for purposes of making it livable and fun. And so this is an unnecessary conservative estimate. We also have a 20% management cost. So this guy Michael, who is the specialist in that area, would charge me 20% to do everything. He handles all the bookings. He handles all of the cleaning, and that's all built in. So we have a total of $1,666 at 20% of that 100,000, right? That's 20K per year. So I'm left with $80,000, right? Now, $80,000 doesn't seem all that bad, but we do have another $1,333 here that we are looking at as an average of that $80,000 in wants and needs and getting things started. So we're buying some relatively inexpensive furniture. I've got about $20,000 in a shopping cart that we may go purchase today on the road. And I'm going to go and see if I can get a discount on that, because I am buying so much. And one of the lessons I want people to take away that I've been learning through this process is just by asking the questions, guys, you can come out so much further ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all they could do is say no. If you don't, closed mouth doesn't get fed, and if you don't ask, you never know. But yeah, I highly recommend any, dicker away. I mean, you're going to go out there, they're going to put in a jacuzzi, they're going to put a price down there. That's a good place to start.
Right, exactly. And I know for a fact that we're going to expand this property and add other dwellings, which I've talked a little bit about on our year-end wrap-up video. And that is where we're going to pull $500,000 a year on this property. Every one of those smaller dwellings has to be furnished. I'm looking at probably easily another $40,000 worth of furniture from this same location. Why wouldn't they potentially be willing to give me a discount on this? Same thing happened on this loan. I started at a 4.875% interest rate. You can see that on the debts tab here, where I've got the $485,000 rough ballpark balance, starting out with 20% down off of the appraised value that came in at $628 last Friday. That 4.875, because the rates have improved since December, would have been floated down to 4 3/4. And I couldn't have cared less about that extra eighth. Instead, they gave me a discount off of the origination for $1,800 plus, just because I asked.
Who are you using for a bank?
So this is Joe Massey, who's been featured on this channel a number of times that's doing the loan.
Okay. Yeah, one of the biggest things that I tell people that's very important, especially if you're going to do investment properties, is create a relationship.
Oh, yeah, we've done
so you have the loan,
so much better because we've had relationships with the banks.
He's doing the loan?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is he going for a bank? Is he shopping?
They portfolio.
Okay. So Joe. Okay. So yeah, the relationship is everything, because cutting a little bit here, cutting a little bit there. Also, if something were to come down the pipe where you need them, you want to have that relationship where you can call on them.
Oh my gosh, it's been great so far already. Again, just last week, as I started checking the rates and seeing that there was a drop, Joe was just willing to say, hey, yeah, we'll knock this thing down. So we're stoked to have that extra $1,800. But an even bigger example was Andy Hicks, the guy that's actually running my entire, he's coaching me through this entire process. He's a rural mountain property specialist. That's all they do, him and his brother. And man, they're just killing it. And so I had to bring him in on this deal, and immediately he gets me from a $625,000 starting point, which I was willing to pay, and now we're down to $597,000 with a bunch of concessions coming in. But because he understood how to go about asking and exactly which direction to go. The other area that was sort of that unpredictable danger was the radon that came in. I would have never even thought to get a radon test. The radon sample came in way high. We ended up through the inspection objection, getting them to mitigate through the contract. This was all because of Andy. Guys, get coached. Get coached. Why do you think Nick is sitting here? I already know he's going to poke holes in some of what I'm thinking about doing here, but I think it's because he's going to want me to put this property into some form of asset protection whereby I can start to actually get
or how you buy it, right? I mean, what you have to, if you go in to any investment, especially real estate, a good investor goes in to a property knowing how they're going to come out or knowing what they're going to get out of it. Sometimes that you get a curveball. Sometimes you might get a property you want to flip, and then because of market conditions, you might end up holding it. But you need to have an exit strategy, and you need to understand what is the purpose of the property. What are you trying to do? Like, you very well know you're going into this because you want passive income. You want that cash flow. The other thing is, how are you buying it? Are you going to buy it as a person? Is it a second home? Is it an investment property for you? Or is it better to run through a business and to capitalize it through a business and expense it through a business? Am I going to use it for something else? Am I going to use it to help my business? Am I going to shoot other videos? Am I going to throw parties there, bring executives in?
Well, right? let me tell you the real goal, and what I'm trying to get through to you guys, and what I'm trying to get out of this is what I'm calling a lifestyle asset. And what I get frustrated about here on YouTube is I don't see anyone else really talking about this. You've either got some sort of a liability that you're flashing around that becomes an asset because it's part of your brand.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
Maybe a Lambo that you're renting. You may not even own the damn thing, but it makes you look showy and flashy. That to me that's not me, right? I don't want to be flashy. I'm trying to actually create income streams here. I'm not trying to fake a fancy life. Now on our Instagram pages, you're going to see a lot of that lifestyle. You're not going to see me photoshopped into those pictures. All I'm trying to do here is find something that I can love and use. What I've always hated about real estate is the fact that you're not allowed to get emotional about it. I am emotional about real estate. I like buying properties that I actually like, right? And then there's this other side where you've got Ramsey talking about beans and rice and beans. And it's like, I've got two things to choose from here. I can't actually find a middle of the road where I get to use what I buy and it can cash flow really, really well. To me, that's amazing. I mean, we're right now shopping for these Polaris 1000s, these Razors, the 4-seaters. Yeah. These things are turbocharged. You spend 25 grand on one.
Sells them, so.
Okay, they rent those things for $450 a day, less than a quarter mile away from this house. Why can't I rent that to my tenant for $450 a day?
Yeah.
So
value adds, things you can do. I mean, this is all, I mean, it is a math project, right? You want to go in there and do the math.
Yeah, right.
What are the value adds? How can I spend $1 and get $10 worth of value add from the program?
100%.
Right?
And if you get to enjoy it, it's even better.
And or if there's 10 houses to rent, right? Something's got to stand out. In having some toys that you get to deduct, right? Or the jacuzzi out back, or the pool out back, or when it's hot as hell, having a little water park or sprinkler stuff for the kids, or whatever it is, because every city is different, every state's different. Thinking about if this was you and you're shopping, right? The same way you look for a hotel.
100%.
The same way you look for an Airbnb. The same way you're that guy, right?
But the best part is I get to actually buy anything that I want as a guest in my own house,
right.
And I get to use it as a tax-deductible expense, correct?
At the end of the day, you're the guy, right? So what would I like, and if I would like other people, right?
Right,
so.
and when I'm out shopping for Airbnbs, what do I have the most memories about? And I do really want to create a memorable experience in this specific income stream. So let's take a look more closely at the final numbers here, okay? Because I think that our cash flow position has landed at a fairly strong point. I mean, we're at $4,077 now. I think I have to raise. I have to change a couple of things here. What do I need to change? We're looking at 58. We're also looking at. Oh, I see. The mortgage payment. Yeah, we're missing the mortgage payment.
63.
Okay, so the cash flow position on this is down to about $1,500, okay? Now this is based off of the $500 and $300 per night that he thought we would get away with all day, but it doesn't count if we put above and beyond amenities in this place and make it more desirable, where he thinks we can even squeeze $650 out of this place. He said $100 for the hot tub is a sure thing. He said if you're going in there and you're really creating a funplex for this, then you might be able to get another 50. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, I've always wanted a shuffleboard table, and I've always wanted a foosball table, and here we are, and we're between a $65,000 and $80,000 total sum in 2 shopping carts. I've got a full furniture shopping cart, and I've got everything on Amazon ready to go, and I'm looking at it and saying, why wouldn't I? I get to enjoy this thing 10 days of the month, and all I have to do is throw some games in there to have some fun with the kids. Like you're saying, you're making it something that you would want to see. Now, if I go in and I factor that into the personal expenses.
Well, what about something else, though? Now somebody's got a jacuzzi, right? They get their hair stuck in it, right? They're riding on a razor. Maybe they get a little crazy and crash. So maybe a general liability policy. A few dollars that you might spend on something, guys, now, right?
Let me just add this insurance. So insurance.
Put in a little buffer, because at the end of the day, do you want to get out your wallet, or you want your insurance guys to get out their wallet?
What does that run?
Oh, like $1.5 million general liability, maybe like $1,700 a year. So maybe say 100, maybe 120 a month. I mean, maybe
let's call it 150 to be super conservative.
That's way conservative, yeah.
Okay, so that'd be 1,800.
But just something,
1,800.
And you guys understand that, right? He's going to have some toys. So with toys become fun, right?
Right.
With fun comes maybe a little crazy. Maybe, when he's driving it, of course, it's his. But now you're renting it to somebody, it's not theirs, and
right.
Maybe he wants to jump something or go down a hill or whatever. Maybe he rolls it, right? So we just want to protect the property, right? We want to.
Well, and the guests. I mean, if somebody gets hurt, you don't want to be sued, right?
Right.
I mean,
you want to take. Well, you can't stop them from being sued, but what you can do
we can
is
protect
stop
ourselves in the event of a lawsuit.
In the event of loss, right?
Yeah.
Lawsuit.
Okay. So if we add that brings our cash flow position based on the starting numbers down to 1,304. But that's without adding all of the increased.
100 here, 100. Maybe even that would pay for the insurance, right? The extra $100.
Oh, wait until we add that, because look at these differences. If we bump that from 500 to 650 for the same 140 days for the high season, or we bump it by 100 on the off season, we're looking at 91,000 and 40,000, which takes this 58.33 and makes it 75.83 and 33 cents each month. And then we've got the 300 per day going to 400, which takes that to a 33 and 33 cents per day, which now means that this property is going to take in almost $11K every single month on just one house. Now, I obviously need to adjust the maintenance on it, because he's not making 20% of that smaller $100,000 revenue. He's making 20% on almost $11,000 per month, which means that we're at $2,000, and you see here it's averaged out at $2,222 each and every month. So going back to the new cash flow position, we're sitting at a $3,331 per month average after adding that general liability policy in there.
And it's paying for itself.
Well, this includes the mortgage.
Yeah.
This includes all the toys. Everything is bought and paid for. You can see we balanced that out here. We've averaged that.
You're ultimately living in this place for free.
This is $1,333 for all around needs as an average of the first 5 years of all of those fun toys. It's already built into the cash flow position as well.
No brainer.
And when we look at the rental analysis spreadsheet from Castle and Cook Mortgage, which is Joe Massey's investment analysis, this is an amazing spreadsheet. We'll link it in the description below as well. You can see that we've got a cash on cash return. Now this is without the 150 for the general liability. So let's go back into the inputs and make sure that we're putting that in. And that would have been an $1,800 total. So general liability.
This is such a huge program, you guys, to do, because I can't tell you how many times investors go in there and they're so excited to buy a property for the sake of buying a property, or they get emotional about the fact that they want to become an investor, right? They're not an investor until they buy something. Then they get into the property and they haven't done the math, and they realize that they're not making money, or worse, they're losing money, right? To go here and have a tool to go, it's a no-brainer. You need to fundamentally sit down and work this worksheet.
Oh my God.
Because it'll tell you right off if you're wasting your time.
It's incredible
or if you have a home run.
How people ignore putting in their income and expenses.
And it takes, and what does it take?
This is a 10-minute project for me to do the cash flow cruncher. It took me an extra 10 minutes to fill out this Buena Vista investment property analysis spreadsheet, which all I did was transpose the data from the cash flow cruncher into here. You can see all these numbers are the annual operating expenses from the monthly averages. If you go into monthly averages on the personal expenses tab, you saw me demonstrating, and you multiply all of them times 12, you'll see all of these match up. And with that, we come down into our cash flow summary, which tells us that on this one property, we're looking at a 20% cash on cash return. We have a 62 gross rent multiplier with a 5-year after-tax return of almost 20% on this one property. Keep in mind that in 2 years after we negotiate with the city to get permission to do these extra dwellings, we're going to end up with another $300,000, maybe $400,000 of incredible upgrades to this property that are then going to take $1 million worth of initial investment, much of which was leveraged, and we're going to be able to pull $40K a month net. That's the current calculations from this one house. So the point I want you guys to walk away with is that even though we've been talking about it being a really challenging buying market for the last, I mean, you're on the road all the time talking to real estate investment groups. You're working with real estate investors
changing
all the time. I just think that there's opportunities no matter what the market looks like. How many properties do you think I looked at to find this one deal?
I mean, a good investor is going to look at 100 properties to buy one. I mean, 100 properties, put offers in on 20, right? And get one. Am I wrong? I mean, we haven't even talked.
No, I looked at one, this one.
That's a home run. That's really, you know what that's called, right?
It's
rare.
Well, what happens is you have to have your radar up. I'm looking at Zillow every day. I've got the notifications on, so I'm looking constantly at properties. I love it, but I mean,
if somebody keys you off, though, I mean, there's nothing that beats information, right? I mean, if you're going out there banging out a market, that's one thing. If you have somebody that's a ringer in a market and knows what they're,
what happened was Kellyanne has someone in her self-leadership global community that knew the sellers, but it was also listed on Zillow, and I had seen it on Zillow and had already passed by it. When we were in Buena Vista, we decided to just take a peek. We weren't even with our agents. We walked through with the sellers. It took 2 hours to look at everything. I knew the moment I walked in, I wanted it. By the end of the conversation, I said, why aren't you guys using this as a short-term rental? I said, why aren't you Airbnb-ing that? Why aren't you putting this on Airbnb? They said, what's that? And I said, I don't know.
It's a lost opportunity.
It's nothing.
That's a lost opportunity.
So guys, you got to be looking at things. But the only reason I was able to look at things and then start to look at these small dwellings is because of people like Nick. It's brainstorming. We talk about this stuff incessantly. You got to be surrounding yourself with people that talk about this stuff incessantly too. Don't listen to your family and your friends who are all not achieving the same goals you want, folks. You've got to be with like-minded people. I don't hang out with my family and friends often and talk about this. The people I talk about this with become my friends. Okay, and so it's get your coaching session. We do offer them for free along with these spreadsheets. We'll put both links in the description below. The rental property analysis spreadsheet along with the cash flow cruncher is our gift to you. You can get a free coaching session from us with just a $500 starting cash flow position. And if you're just ready to go and you don't want to wait the 9 or 10 months it takes to get a free coaching session from us, just sign up and pay. We charge something like under $7,000, guys. We charge under $300 per month if you pay monthly. You don't think that over 30 months we're going to make enough of a difference in your life to justify that expense so many times over that you're just a fool to have passed it up? Of course we are. And I'm going to get back into the debt weapon stuff with Nick that he's already walking me through how I need to structure this, where we're keeping certain things in the right types of entities. We're talking about seasoned entities, things nobody comes out of the womb knowing. You've got to learn these things. And if you're not aware they exist, you don't even know the right questions to be asking. You've got to come in and get consultations with these guys. You've got to get consultations from people like us. We have different specialties. They don't overlap, but they're all working together as part of the engine. Okay, so pretty curious, what happened to you at the airport today?
So funny story. So I was there and I don't think I look like it, but 3 people came up to me and they said, hey, Reverend, or Father, hey, Father,
oh my God.
Do you know how I get to, and I said, And at first I didn't understand what they were talking about. I thought it was priest.
Well, did you bless anybody today?
No, I didn't bless. I'm like, no, but I'm like, no, I'm not a father, but you go that way. And so that was pretty funny to me.
I told Nick the last time that we spoke that somebody on this channel told me a few weeks ago that they think he looks like a comic book character.
But I will tell you something amazing that happened. So I just got back from Italy and went out there with the wife. And we were in Rome, and we went to this place called the Trevi Fountains. It's a beautiful place. You can look it up.
People know what
but
it is.
we were shooting, I was shooting a little video daily. You guys can see it online. And one of the things that happened was all of a sudden this group of 4 people came up, and this one guy that was a part of one of the couples says, "Hey, I know you, and wait, I've seen you before." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, You're on that channel. You're with the VIP guy, with that Matt guy. Yeah, you're the bull guy. You're the bald-headed guy on there. I've seen you."
You're the bald. I love that he points out you're bald.
And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, are you guys taping now? Am I in your shot? And are you taping?" I'm like, "No, I'm just doing something right now." He goes, "Well, is Matt on there?" I'm like, "No, he's not there, but I will." He goes, "Well, tell him we watch his channel. We love it, and we love his content and all that." So I thought that was kind of a neat thing,
Worldwide, baby, worldwide.
Who would have guessed it? And at first I thought maybe somebody was coming up and playing a joke. At first you never know.
What if I popped out of nowhere?
Yeah, that would have been. That's something that you would do, because I told him that I was going. I wouldn't put it past him, but that was a good experience. Man. And so I of course I had to get on the phone and tell Matt and make it so his head couldn't get through the door. But yeah, it was all.
Yeah,
it's a great thing,
worry, man.
You're doing good work out there, man. People are getting the benefits, and it doesn't do any good to have any of these resources if you're not gonna use them.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's what we want to be, as a resource of resources to you. That's it. We're going to be giving away 2 $25 Amazon gift cards this week, so make sure you're a subscriber. I just want to thank you for coming on and talking about my stuff instead of your own. This is a big help for me, and it should at least give you guys. Look, I probably wouldn't have immediately gone out and gotten a general liability policy. That one takeaway alone could possibly be what saves me $1 million hypothetically, right? So very, very important to have extra sets of eyes so that you can see why if you catch my drift. So guys, I can't wait to open this up to more content with Nick while he's here. Be on the lookout for content over the next 2 months. We're gonna be collabing with several of my idols. This is just such a cool start of the year, guys, and I can't wait for you to be on the team and be a part of it. We're also going to be walking you through the rest of the journey on this property. You'll see us when we close. You'll see all the boxes and everything getting delivered. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of excitement. So make sure you stick around, and we'll see you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day. Take care.